Morning. It is Monday again. Where did I put that at? There it is. Today, what's on my mind is the at least mentality. At least I got that done. At least I'm doing this. And it's more than I was doing. At least I'm not doing that. We can always do more. We can always, put in more effort. And we've always got more left in us than we think we do. And we have to coach ourselves, essentially, be our biggest motivator, and give ourselves those pep talks and those things that help us to keep going. I'll give you an example. Saturday, which this week's been crazy anyway, and I was so tired just all week. But Saturday, what is all over that? Is it soap? Soap. Saturday, I went and worked 8 hours at my shop. Actually stayed over because I wasn't finished, which I'm never finished, but had a lot of stuff to process and from where I was on vacation. So I stayed and took care of all that stuff. And mind you, I leave there worn out as it is. And I take the trash off and stop by the store and I stop and get Ryder from his mama's house. And stop and fill up a little jug to get gas for my lawnmower. Come home, clean my car up, because it was like way past due for that. Gosh, it was awful. And I was like, I just can't stand it no more. I gotta clean my car. You know how those little back and forth to work vehicles get? But anyway, cleaned my car out, vacuumed it, washed the dash and the doors, and went over the carpet with the shampooer and cleaned the windows and all that stuff. Then I mowed most of the yard. I still got a section to do this week when I get back. But I was dragging, literally, I was dragging my feet, pretty much. I was so worn out. And I sat there mowing, and I still had probably about half to do. Because I started out strong. I started out really moving, I was like, I gotta get this done quick. I ain't got a lot of daylight left. Gotta get this done. Well, going down through there, and man, I'm wearing down. I'm wearing down so bad. And I was like, come on now, you got more. You got more in you than you think. You can always go further. And it sounds kind of silly, I guess, because I'm talking about mowing the yard, and you think, oh, that's not real important. But it has to be done. It's something that has to be done. I'm not gonna, let my yard Especially for the fact that it's not my yard. I'm not going to let it turn into a hayfield. But anyways, one of my cousins stopped on their riding around on their side-by-side, stopped and said, "Hello, cousin," and said, "What are you doing?" And I was like, "All this stuff, man. Gotta get all this stuff done." I said, "I ain't done yet," and just talked for just a few minutes. And I was like, mow the yard, wash the dishes, wash the clothes, clean the car. I was like, how it is. And that's the thing. There is never nothing to be done. Never. There's always something that needs to be done. We don't have an overabundance of time. And remember, I was talking about that, I think it was on Saturday, about we've all got the same amount of time in a day and we decide what we do with it. And yes, some days we gotta rest, because there is days where, Sundays, occasionally, a few, every now and then, I guess it's a few of them I've done this, but every now and then I'll be just plumb to my limit. And on Sunday, I'll actually rest. And I'll just pile up in the bed with Ryder all day and watch movies. That's not often at all. And we do need rest. We do need to refuel. And I'll tell you all the time to be good to yourself and take care of yourself. And I took care of myself yesterday, even though I had all kinds of stuff to do. I still made myself a good breakfast. I made myself a good dinner. I've meal prepped for the week. I got a bunch of stuff done. And I am tired today, but I don't feel just completely. If you was a snake, you would have bit me. I was going to say I don't feel completely dead tired, but I'm pretty tired. But I want to encourage you, and I want to encourage me, which I guess I don't have as big of an issue of, at least, kind of attitude. I do try to encourage myself a lot of times of, we got this accomplished. I know it's not everything I wanted accomplished, but we got this accomplished. And I try to, in a way, I guess, motivate myself and encourage myself saying stuff like that. But I want to encourage you today and myself to go the extra mile. And I know that sounds really cliche, but in your goals, in your dreams, in yourself and the person that you are, whatever you're doing, go the extra mile. Do a little more. And it ain't nothing huge, and it's just not doable. And I understand being just one slap out, but try to do your best, and don't have the attitude of, at least, or I'll do it tomorrow, or, well, that's good enough. No. A few extra minutes can make all the difference. And I can imagine that, which I don't think they worry about time, but artists, I can imagine that they stepped back and they looked at their masterpiece of whatever they created, and they added something else. They didn't just, oh, well, I've been at this a while, so I'm like Forrest when he got done running. I'm going to go home now. I'd say they added something else. So today, I encourage you to do a little extra. Do a little more. Put in a little more effort. Just a little more. And a little bit more every day will add up. And you'll be further along. You'll feel better about yourself. Because that's something, I can tell you, Saturday I was so worn out. But when I got done, when I finally got a shower and I finally sat down to eat, I was proud of myself because I had done more. I'd went further. I'd kept going. And not every day are you going to have just that much energy. You're going to be literally like killed over. You know, or mentally you're just not going to be able to do it. And that's okay. But every day that you can do a little extra and you do, it's going to add up. And before you know it, you will be seeing the differences and seeing the results of going a little bit further. So today, put a little bit more of yourself into whatever it is you're doing. Whether it's your job, and I'd encourage you, your dreams and your goals, but if you're working a job, do a good job. You know, don't be lazy, because I can tell you from a standpoint of a business owner, we don't want that. We don't like that. So, definitely, regardless of what you're doing, you should be doing a good job. You should be giving good effort. You shouldn't be lazy. But go put in a little more. Put in some more effort. Put in a little bit more of yourself into what matters. And you say, well, if I put more energy into my job, how am I going to have energy to put into my dreams and my goals? I'm telling you, if you're working a day job, do a good job. And then when you get done with doing that good job, go pour into you and what you're doing, your dreams and your goals. That's what I'm telling you. Every day, you and me just fight all the time. It's a relationship that we have. Whatever. Go have a good day.